Cherry Hill, Grahamstown, Baintown, from everywhere they're coming. They're the people's choice, the Saxon Superstars.
Hello? Who's in the morning?
Roots!
Yeah, y'all join me, finish it.
We know you're watching. We can feel you. We know that you are afraid. Afraid of us. You're afraid of change. You're afraid of what happens when the Bahamian people find out that you've lied to them. I'm going to hang up this phone, and we are going to tell them everything. We are going to tell them who they are and what you took from them. Change is not coming. Change is here.
Fellow Bahamians, you have been lied to. You have been told that you are poor, that you have no wealth and no resources. You have been told that your natural resources are worth nothing. You've been told that even if you had natural resources that only the wealthy could afford to mine and process it. While you were struggling to survive, they were secretly shipping billions of tons of your natural resources out of the country. It's time to learn the truth. It's time to end this myth. There is a dangerous cohort called the oligarchs. They have been using your beloved politicians as puppets to do their bidding. To distract you with rallies, handouts and jobs while they ran off with your riches. So the question is, how do you get your resources out of the hands of the oligarchs and into the hands of the Bahamian people? It's easier than you think. Today, I have come as the bearer of good news. And that is that change is not coming, change is here.
You know, a lot of people wonder how Dubai became a very big, famous and rich city.
You see, if you're comparing with Nigeria, listen to this. Nigeria has oil before than Dubai. It's a history. They are more rich than us. They have agriculture, they have mining, they have everything, you name it, they have it. Am I right or wrong? When you have a true leadership, we have nothing, but we have everything because we have the right leadership. That's the only thing you need, a right leader for your country, not corruption. That's what brings your country at the top. You don't need anything. We want water, we don't have agriculture, we don't have mining.
That's quite interesting.
And that's Sheikh Mohammed. Number one, he doesn't know number two, he needs only number one. He says, I don't know. There's no number 2 in my book. Only number 1.
I hear he doesn't ride in the convoy.
Sadly, I understand why the New Day administration is doing so poorly at confronting the crisis after crisis facing the country. Their major problem is the captain of the PLV ship has too often abandoned his post over the past year. The Prime Minister seems to spend most of his time preparing to travel, en route traveling, on trips, returning from trips, or planning his next trip. The EU may not have blacklisted us if we had a Prime Minister who was doing his job properly. After 1 year in office, the Prime Minister gets an F grade for attendance, for not being at his desk doing the people's work. And right now, the Prime Minister, his out-of-control press secretary, and their large delegation of traveling companions are planning a major trip to Egypt for next month. The conference they're going to is from November 6th to 18th. And now you know, Mr. Deputy, it will take a long time to get to and from Africa. So if you add the travel days before and after the conference, the Prime Minister will not be here for much of November when electricity bills go up. I wonder if he, the out-of-control press secretary, and their traveling companions will go on further tours in Africa after the conference. Maybe they will be touring or spend extra days spending the people's money. Maybe again, they will go on a tour of the pyramids, where the pharaohs and others are buried.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are so sorry about that. They said there's no sound. I just want to thank all of you for being here with us. I want to thank you for tuning in, spending your special Sunday with all of us. Thank you so much for always being a part of this. And thank you to everyone who has been spreading the news, spreading the message of the new Bahamas. People who have been spreading the message. Listen, they have bought out the media. They have given ambassadorships to media owners, and they've given contracts, etc., to make sure that the media is silenced. They've given jobs to make sure that the media is silenced. They can silence the media, but they cannot silence you. You is the way that the message is going to get out there. I want to thank each and every one of you Bahamians, real patriotic Bahamians, who are sharing the message in the buses, on the bus stop, in the barber shop, in the hairdresser, everywhere you go, on the bank line. You're spreading the message to your family and your friends and to strangers. That is how we're going to get the message of a new Bahamas out. We have been going back and forth for too long, and if this continues, we are going to be in serious problems. Our country is on life support. We are beyond crisis. We are on life support. We are barely surviving. And so we're going to have a serious conversation today. I'm going to try to do just 1 hour today because I have some things I have to get to. But we're going to have a serious conversation. And if we have the phone line, we'll open the phone lines for you also. But there's some things I want you to see in the law. This government is stealing again. This PLP is at it again. We keep going back and forth between these same people over and over and over. And I honestly don't know when we're going to get tired of it. This is Hubert Alexander Ingram.
They are behaving, they are behaving like the bad little boy caught with his hands in the cookie jar. When his mama asks him, what are you doing? He sheepishly looks up and says, nothing, mama. You simply nothing, mama, standing there all innocent, with two hands full right up. They need some strong smacks on their hands. Didn't I tell you not to steal from our cookie jar?
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what gives that gentleman right there the right to talk about the other party because his party was doing the exact same thing. That man in the video that we started with, Hubert Minnis, I don't know, he must have a different kind of consciousness. He has to have no soul and no consciousness to come in the House of Assembly and say the things that he said. Not that some of them were not true, but the fact that his party did the same things and in some instances worse. Have we found out where the $54 million went that went to his political supporters, financial supporters? Have we found out where so much of our VAT and tax money went under the Minnis administration? Have we found out what he did with the $250 million? Have we? That the IDB asked them to account for? And that when they signed the loan, it said that they would account for it? Have we found out? And him and Pintard are sitting there as if they are so sweet and innocent and they are going to be the saviors of the Bahamas. We are going around in circles. And it's not going to stop until we stop it. They're doing it because you're allowing it. People only do to you what you allow them to do to you. And they are doing it because you are allowing it, falling for that nonsense. I know I was supposed to greet you and hail some of you this morning, but listen, I'm in a place right now. I am beyond fed up with what I'm seeing in this government. It is horrible. This has become a totalitarian state. It has become an authoritarian state where we have the government now using police and defense force, etc., to attack their own Bahamians, to control them. We see that they're using the court system willy-nilly, however they want. And we're going to talk about that stuff some more on Tuesday. We are going to bring documents to show you how they've been using the police, using the system, judicial system, in ways that it should not be done. It's sad. Many of us have been a victim of the system, including myself. And many of you have been a victim of the system. And we're going to talk about that on Tuesday. But today, we're going to talk about this thieving government. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this stealing, what they call in politics, kleptocracy. Klepto, meaning stealing, theft. This kleptocracy we call the Bahamas, this thieving government. Clint Watson asked a very good question. He asks for the opposition. I don't know why he asks them, but of course, I think he asks for. I think he asks them because he knows that they won't be able to answer him, and if they're able to answer him, they won't be able to answer him with any kind of credibility. Uh, but Clint Watson asks a question. He said Watson calls on the FNM to say which law government broke in funding Bermuda trip. Well, it so happens that I know the law like the back of my hand. And so, because I know the law like the back of my hand, I'm going to answer Clint Watson. I'm going to answer him, and I'm going to tell him exactly which laws the government broke because they broke the law. There's laws they broke that go with heavy fines, up to 5 years in prison, and up to $100,000 in fines. This government, in reference to their Bermuda trip. The thing is, if they did that with the Bermuda trip, how much other things are they doing right now that has just not been exposed yet? I told you all from the beginning, before the year turned around after election. I told you all that there were persons in the administration, there were cronies who were getting loans from the Small Business Fund, getting loans and grants. I called names of wealthy persons known to be millionaires, who are getting $20,000 grants. What manner of nonsense is this? See, the thing with the PLP is they thief petty. They thief on a petty level, big and petty. The FNM steals on a large scale. If they're gonna thief, $17 million for drones, for example. They're gonna thief $17 million to pay for an educational system, e-learning system. That's how the FNM steals. They're gonna take 50, $60 million. They're gonna steal that and funnel that money to their cronies. They're gonna charge you for things like visas, travel visas, and make sure it goes to their people. They're gonna steal millions and millions, big money. The PLP steals big money and then they steal petty money. Right now, the PLP is plotting the biggest money heist in the history of the world. I'm going to show you that in a minute. And if Bahamians don't wake up, we're going to be in serious problems. So the PLP right now is having all kinds of problems. They're having all kinds of fights amongst themselves. They're having fights amongst themselves. Their political cronies are now cursing out the party. Here, we can see this is a fellow called Ezra Russell. I know I made the picture too long, so you can't see it good, but you saw it on. I'm sure you saw it on Facebook. If you haven't, you can go and look for it. But remember, he was praising before the election. He was praising. I did an interview with him live, and he was praising Brave Davis and talking about how much Brave Davis did. And everything he described was what Brave Davis actually did for him personally. He bragged about his plane, his airplanes. He had 5 airplanes, his restaurant, and his cars and his boats. And he bragged about things that he benefited from the government. But now he's saying this. He said, "Good morning, Bahamas. I am so motivated right now to say that we here in Cat Island are ashamed to see that nothing is happening for Cat Island after 47 years. We really don't have anything to be proud of. It looks like whoever becomes prime minister, this island stays the same. A few of us who keep investing our money with little return or none at all because of little help from the government. Cat Island needs some serious help and a people who are willing to stand up. We here in Cat Island tried FNM, then PLP. We are still the same. Something is really wrong. Feels like we keep going backwards. Simple as a direct flight from the US after 47 years can't happen. We have Bahamian owned hotel in Cat Island, no help from tourism. Cat Island, it is time we come together, demand of the Bahamas government help us. Let's put away our different with each other and push ourselves in this country. If not Cat Island, we will be here for 47 years more without anything. May God the Father keep us. That is Ezra Russell, a strong, staunch PLP and supporter of General of Brave Davis, Philip Brave Davis, in Cat Island. And he is crying and complaining that nothing has happened in Cat Island for 47 years and that there will be another 47 years. I want to say to Ezra that a new Bahamas is coming. And if you seriously mean the words that you said, if you didn't just say those words like many political persons do, just so they could get the attention of the government, so that the government would want to silence them and then give them some things, if you're serious about what you said, that you've tried a PLP and FNM and nothing has changed, then it's time to try something new. The insanity of the back and forth is over. It's time for something new. It's time for the kleptocracy to end. It's time for the kleptocracy to end. And so, if you are serious, we presented the plans for Cat Island, which would have taken Cat Island into another stratosphere. Cat Island has so much potential. It's a beautiful island. It is the island that Christopher Columbus discovered. And by the way, the statue has been removed from Government House, the Christopher Columbus statue, and it has been sent for repairs. And they're going to repair it and put it back. Sickening. But I digress. Cat Island, we had a vision for Cat Island that we presented. And Cat Island right now could have been on their way to being the Dubai of this side of the world. Cat Island has a lot of potential, a salt pond that they could benefit from, a position that they could benefit from, hills that we could use. We talked about putting clouds there, data clouds in Cat Island. We talked about farming that we want to put back there. We talked about so much things that we wanted to do for Cat Island that would have generated its own income. But of course, they chose to just vote for just putting someone in and making them a millionaire. We want all Cat Islanders to benefit. So, we're looking forward to, as soon as possible, removing this government and replacing it with a government of Bahamians who believe in Bahamians and who are going to be for Bahamians and put Bahamians first. So that is coming, it's on the horizon, and it is here. There's another PLP troll, that was crying recently and complaining recently. There's so many of them, it's all over WhatsApp, etc. They're disappointed with their party. And here is another one. I can't play the whole thing. I implore you to go look for it. Because it has, a lot of foul language in it. And so we don't want to offend anybody. So we're going to play this, and I'm going to play a part of it. But just to show you what's really happening already, I've never seen this kind of turnaround in 1 year. Even Minnis had more than a year. And it wasn't until almost about around Dorian when people really started turning on him. But this is another strong PLP supporter.
Y'all can't be serious, man. Hey, I can say it again. Yo, some of these MPs, y'all didn't come in to keep. Y'all only came in for seats. Brave, you really have to check some of these MPs though. Because I really think some of these MPs are not doing their job. They're not doing their job. Not everybody that is on the team is with the team or part of the team. Anyone can say they are PLP from their mouth or inside their heart. They could be somebody else. Real talk, to be honest. You have to realize and understand. You have some people, they will make the team look good. They also will make the team look bad. You have some people at the end of the day, when it's time for the team to go back to the race, you have some people that will cause the team to lose. I'm only being honest. And at the end of the day, I'm only being honest, guys. At the end of the day, y'all MPs have to realize and understand y'all have a job to do, y'all have a job to live up to, y'all have responsibilities
consequences of rejecting, refusing, and mistreating the people who support your real talk. So, being honest, these are the last days. You be careful how you spell with someone when you need them, and the minute you get where you are, you forget them. Because the same people you smile with, shake hands with, sit down and eat with, you understand me? And they supported you, and you get where you are, and then you forget them, you walk past them, you mislead them, you lie to them, you reject them, you refuse them, you run away from them. They will be the same people that you would need again someday when it's your time to face the table again. I'm only being honest.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I played that to show you all the context of what's really happening in this country, what's really going on. Some might say we get swing again. And so are we looking forward to getting swing again in the next 3 to 4 years? Is this where we go back and forth, or are we going to try something new this time? What is it we're going to do? It's a question we have to ask ourselves. We have to ask ourselves this question because PLPs are complaining now, FNMs are complaining, Bahamians are complaining. So what are you going to do? That is the question. I put it to you that you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, and you've been robbed. Every single 5 years, the government changing was not to do with the people. It's to do with the system that realized that they can't let anyone else get in because the PLP and FNM are one. And if they keep swinging it back and forth to themselves, then no one else can get in and hold them accountable. And so I want you to think back as far as you can in the modern Bahamas. Think about around 2000, when all of a sudden Ingram started acting out and acting like he's big and bad and he doesn't care about the people and he's going to do what he wants to do. It was almost like he was pushing it towards Perry Gladstone Christie. He started to act in such ways that we were like, is this the same Ingram? And he pushed it toward Christie. And then Christie came in, and then Christie started to act all crazy and out of order and started to do certain things. And we were like, what's going on here? They want us to vote them out. It's like this scandal, and Christie isn't doing anything. And now Christie is saying things like, Christie said things like not even God could stop him. But anyway, it shifted back to Ingram. And then Ingram started to come in and say, he's popping now, he's going to this and that. And then he started to do some crazy things again. Every time it's time for election, they act intentionally to cause you to want, because they know that people vote against, not for. And they cause you to want to vote against them so bad that you will push it towards their friends. And this is what has been happening, Bahamas. Open your eyes. Back and forward. Christie sticking up the middle finger and saying certain things and insulting the church, and y'all ain't got to heaven or hell to put me in, and certain things that they know wouldn't be acceptable. Minister did the same thing. Minister started to act crazy, started to say certain things that he know would offend you, etc., to push this the other way. They wanted to make sure that the third party couldn't get in there. It's their biggest fear, because then they would be held accountable. Because as long as they have the Attorney General's office and they have the financial controllers, the financial secretary, etc., they know that there's nothing that you can do. They know that you have to just leave them alone and let them continue their kleptocracy. But I see that Bahamians are waking up every single day, and they're tired of these thieving fools. Why does Brave have to steal $24,000, man? But we're going to talk about that in a second. We're going to talk about what law they broke, because Clint asked a question, and we're going to answer that question. Before I go on, I'm going to get to that question right now. You know, I had an amazing week last week, and I want to thank all of you who helped me to celebrate my birthday. It was the best birthday week I've ever had, and I want to thank all of you who contributed to that. I want to thank those of you who spent time with me on my birthday on Wednesday, and then the persons on the farm on the weekend, yesterday actually, last night, threw another party for me, and we had a good party out there. And they gave me everything I love: my ice cream, my cake, my Vitamalt, what do you call it? Apple cider. I just want to thank you for the love that you showed me. Persons testified of ways that I've helped them and ways that I've transformed their lives. People always talk the negative that they hear out there from political trolls. They don't hear it from actual persons. They'll say, "Oh, this person did this person did that," but you won't hear from the person they say it was done to. You'll hear from the political trolls. But then you never hear from the persons who can say that they have a good testimony about their experiences with you. And I want to thank those persons who are able to speak well of their experiences with me. I lived this life for others. I had a lot of fun and a lot of success in this life, and I'm grateful to God for that. But I lived this life to see how many people I could help before I pass on. And so I want to thank all of you. You made my day special. They gave me gifts, etc. And this is the best birthday weekend that I have ever had. And now it's back to work. But I want to thank all of you. On this weekend, I also attended some funerals. I had 2 deaths in the Pinewood community. Liz through Maple Street died, and also the lady who died in a car accident in Freeport with her son, who survived. Her grandmother lives in Pinewood, so I had a chance to go there and spend some time with them. And death is never an easy thing. And I just want to give my sincerest condolences to those persons. Yes, I'm still very active in this community. This is my community. This is where I grew up. This is where I was born and raised. And I'm going to continue to be active in this community. And the transformation of this country is going to be sparked from the same Pinewood Gardens that the FNM and PLP and our Wacombs benefited from. Raped and robbed these single mothers, etc. By selling us this neighborhood, this flooding neighborhood with houses that were falling apart, roofs falling down and killing people. But we're going to bring that change. We're going to spark that change. And I also got to attend 2 funerals this weekend of supporters of our organization. So these are persons who have been a great support to us. And when I say a great support, I mean a great support, an amazing support to us. Thelma Louise Smith passed away. She supported us, Thelma Louise Smith, and she was buried on Saturday at 1:30. And so we got time to be there at St. Anselm Church and to lay her to rest. Her daughter reminded me that, her mother would always tell her, "Hey, it's 5 o'clock." On Sunday, say, "It's 5 o'clock." Say, "Let me hear my boy." Well, now she's going to be listening to us from a better place where there'll be no more pain and suffering, and no more tears, no more bills, no more having to survive the terror of the PLP and the FNM. And so we thank you for that. And then there was another funeral. I got to give condolences at another funeral. And it was the funeral of Gary Hamilton, a very well-known gentleman, well-known in sports, a family man, a very powerful family man. Loved his wife, loved his children, loved his neighborhood, and he used to love his PLP. And it's so amazing. When I met him, he came to me and he said, "Lincoln," he said, I used to be a PLP. And I said, "Well, all of us were something, at one time or another." And he said, No, you don't understand. I would have killed for the PLP." And he said, "Even my MP, said some negative stuff about you, saying you're no good, but I don't care what they say. You are my leader." And but the truth is, he was my leader. And I said this at his funeral, because he was a man who lived by example. He showed us how to love. He showed us how to live for other people. He loved his wife. He loved his children. He loved God, and he was a very good example to us. And I was called to give condolences, and I decided to do a little impromptu song, and I'm going to let you hear that right now. This is the funeral of Gary Hamilton. Rest in peace.
Precious Lord, take my hand and lead me on. Let me stand, 'cause I'm tired. I am weak. I walk through the storm to the night. Lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me home.
My 2 minutes. And so, farewell, my brother, my friend, who was always there to give me good, kind, and honest advice. Farewell to you. We love you, and we'll see you on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, so we'll have some more funerals attended in the near future, and we'll be there for you. Just let us know if your family, if you lost a loved one, if you have a loved one in the hospital, etc. Let us know, and we will be there for you. That's what we signed up for, and we will be there. Right now, we are working diligently to get to build a refuge, a place of refuge for single mothers who are going through, who need a place to be, who are out there in the elements with their children. Fathers are involved and they need help. And so we are working hard. And so within the next 2 weeks, we're looking to have that up and running so that persons, and we will not ask you which party you support. If you're Bahamian, you can come. If you're a Bahamian, you are welcome to get yourself and to reset and not have to worry about anything and not have to be fearful for your children being out there in the elements. So we're working very hard to get that done. So thank you for anyone who would like to support in anything that we are participating in and doing. Now let's get down to what we were talking about. All right, this klepto, I can't even say it. Kleptocracy. This thieving government. I like how this guy worded it. Of course, it was long before this government was in. It was when the previous government started talking about they wanted to bring in marijuana. I like what this gentleman had to say. And so I thought to bring back this video because he said some interesting things. Listen to this.
You can do that, and perhaps your presentation can be very brief.
It will be.
You'll be sending us.
It will be, ma'am. I'm from the Bahamas. My people are descendant of the Bahamas. The short miracle about me is I live on East Street all my life. I've never been to Freeport, Miami, or jail. That's the miracle. That don't happen in Nassau, nowhere. Now, let me tell you the rest. These people, the politicians especially, they are crooks. Anything that's happening, if it's not going to benefit their family, it's not going to happen for the people. Marijuana just happened to be a different topic, so I drove from East Street here. What I need for you people to do, if you are serious about giving Nassau or even legalizing marijuana in Nassau, I would like that you not in any way take it to the politicians of the Bahamas. Because see, if their pockets are not getting thread, then this point ain't gonna happen. CARICOM mean nothing tonight. You was here and you was not. That's it. You understand what I'm saying? No, whether you believe it or not, my name is Frederick Margaret Tucker Jr. II. Whether you believe it or not, you are nothing when you leave here. These people have our VAT money. They ain't know where the VAT money gone. So you can't make marijuana something to get money from because you ain't gonna know where that money gone. We need to know where two set of money missing from because they don't do that here. In the Bahamas, we just steal and that's it. My thing is, no, ma'am, trust me, this is the God's honest truth. They don't want to hear it because if you speak out, then they're going to, in public, you're not going to get a job. They're going to make sure you don't, but I don't have that worry because I'm me, you see? What I need for you to do, ma'am, I need your personal hookup because to make this thing happen in Nassau, it's not going to happen by these heads here in the Bahamas. Like I said, what the white guy is who running America? People may hate Trump, but let me tell you something what I love about Trump. He love Americans, and he don't play, and he just stand up for them. We had someone like that, his name was Lyndon Pinlin. See, the thing with him is, when he steals something, all us get rich. These new people, when they steal, they family get rich. It's not going to work. You see? No, it's the truth. Let the past and all them tell you all them things. Listen. Don't let them lie to you. It's the God's honest truth. So if you're really like Jamaica, if you're really going to do something about it inside,
okay, I get the point, and we are serious. We're going to do something. Okay, great.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
That's all I need for you guys to do. To look into it seriously. That's all.
One thing with Bahamians, we'll speak our mind, buddy. We ain't gonna fight for much, but we'll speak our minds when you get us angry enough. But some of what he said was extremely true. That this government, they're just gonna steal everything. So if we have another form of income in terms of marijuana, which they were talking about at the time, the government's gonna steal all of it. They said they were bringing in VAT in order to pay down the debt. The debt has gone exponentially higher, and the money has been apparently stolen. We don't know what has happened with the money, and there's no accountability. And so, what is the point now of them bringing VAT? They always sweet talk you. Perry Christie said, we're going to bring VAT, but we got to pay down the debt. The debt is so bad. We got to pay it down. So, let us bring in the VAT. It's only going to be 7.5%. And that's what he did. And we noticed that the debt wasn't going down, it was going up. They were spending even more. And when his partners in crime came in, the F&M, they increased VAT even more. But while they were in opposition, they were attacking the present government about VAT. And then they came and raised it even more. Their partners did, the F&M. And it's like they raised it more, and the debt increased even more. Where was the money going? It's going to the PLP and the F&M. But we're going to get to the bottom of this. You know, Clit Watson asked the question, what laws were being broken? And all of this conversation started to happen because we started to see that the government is already stealing. A scandal has been exposed where they showed that they paid this after the fact. Because Clit Watson, let me show you what Clit Watson had to say. I think I'll just show you what Clit Watson had to say, and about this. I'm going to start with this, and then I'm going to talk about the crime of the century, the biggest theft in Bahamian history that this party is doing. You're distracted with the airline thing, but they are stealing bigger than you can even imagine. And so make sure you stay for that. Don't go nowhere. You got to see this. You got to see what this government is up to. But in the meantime, I want you to see, let me see if I can pull that up for you. I want you to see what Clit Watson had to say. It was shocking. All right. I mean, beyond shocking. Let me just give me a sec. Let me line this up for you. Clit Watson, in an interview with the media, these young people that, they got to keep their jobs so they can't, fight as hard as they would have. But, okay, here we go. So this is the media. This is the media call. These young children. I mean, look at them. It looks like some of them don't even. This one is on her phone. One of them is on her phone. This one is sitting there staring blankly into the future. This one is sitting there. She also seems to be staring, blankly, like why do I have to be here? This one is staring down and to the right, and it's like, oh my God, is this what I'm going to do with my life? And look at them. This one isn't even looking at Clint. This guy, they're not even looking. This one is in his phone also. And this is the media. These are the people that are here to defend. Now, two of these guys in the back asked some great questions. I will say that. I got to give them credit. But this is the media that is here to defend the Bahamian people. Here we go.
Devontae, Hannah, it doesn't happen regularly, right? It's not something you wonder, well, this will happen next month. It doesn't happen regularly. as far as whether or not there's a consequence political parties and government is happening right. As far as you talked about being, we're looking to see. I mean, I've heard people ask, is it against the law? And we're asking, what is the law? I've heard the opposition leader talk about that yesterday, and we're still trying to ask him what law you're referring to. So if you refer to a law, then we can look at it and see whether.
Wait, Bahamas. The government is asking the opposition what the law is to educate them on what law they broke. I mean, this is mind blowing. You know, let me just continue.
What he's referring to relevant, but we don't know about the law. We do ask if he referred to anything particular to say what it is so that it can be looked into.
You said it was like the Financial Management Act. So that was going to be the question. Is there a concern that with this whole procedure that the government was breaking the law as he accused them of doing, or do we not know what that?
As for breaking the law.
So the media had to tell Clint Watson what the law was, the Financial Management Act, which we're going to go into, and I'm going to show you the laws that was broken. All right, it's mind blowing.
Oh, I can't speak to that. I don't know that. What I can say is, remember the Prime Minister is also the Minister of Finance, and so he has.
And he's saying he don't know. So I keep saying to you every week, why is the media questioning Clint on these technical matters? If this is such a major issue, then the Minister of Finance should be before the media answering these questions. If this is such a technical issue, then, and it came from the Office of the Prime Minister, then the Office of the Prime Minister should be answering these technical questions, not this guy who does not know the law.
To approve and to make determinations on certain things. In this case, when he recognized there was an element of political parties, he made the decision himself to handle the finances from a political party and not to use government. No one asked him to do that. No one suggested that to him. That was his determination, just based on what he felt he should do, which for many people feel is honorable.
So Clint has been talking to many people to find out that whether this thing is honorable or not. I just want to say that he told something that appears to be a blatant lie. He said that the Prime Minister himself decided that the party would pay for this thing. Then why did the Treasury pay for it? And why is it that you have to pay back the Treasury? How is it that you could get a loan from the Treasury for your trip and then pay it back? If the Prime Minister decided that, oh, well, the PLP is going and the PLP is going to have to pay, then the PLP should have paid. The PLP did not pay. And so it's obvious that what you're saying is a lie. It's a blatant lie from the pits of hell. And so they put these documents together, a check, and a check is not payment. And a check is an intention to pay. That's what a check is. A check is an intention to pay. Anyone can write a check. That doesn't mean that there was any form of payment. That means that someone wrote a check, and this check might never be cashed. We have not seen the invoices to know what did the airline charge. If you paid the airline, then there should have been an invoice saying, listen, the airline charged $50,000, but here's $24,000 for now. Then we could say, okay, we see what's going on. Or the airline could have said, it cost $24,750, and then they said, well, here's the check to the Treasury for that amount. But nothing. All right? So that's the check, and then on the flip side is the receipt. Now, anyone could write a receipt. I mean, look whose name is on this, Jerome Fitzgerald. If you see Jerome Fitzgerald's name there, you know that that's scandal. The fact that his name is there, it says received from the Progressive Liberal Party, Jerome Fitzgerald. So how could Jerome Fitzgerald is in charge of the office of the Prime Minister. He is the consultant and he's in charge of the office of the Prime Minister, Jerome Fitzgerald. How is it that he is paying, writing a receipt or not writing a receipt, he is paying this money from the PLP to the office of the Prime Minister? This is clear conflict of interest. If he works in the office of the Prime Minister as a consultant to the Prime Minister and to the office of the Prime Minister, how is it that it says Progressive Liberal Party, Jerome Fitzgerald, is paying this? And it says it's reimbursement for funds for plane to Hamilton, Bermuda during the period of the 19th to the 20th. This is scandalous. And in any other country, persons would have gone to jail. And here you can see that this stamp, it is clearly, this was edited. If you look at this carefully, this is, I'm sorry, you can't see it. Let me just, oh yeah, you can see it. It's clearly that this is scandalous because you can see that this date was changed. This date right now to me looks like it says October 29, 2022. People said it looked like the 25th, etc. I said it looks like the 29th because it looks like a 9 to me. But that was into the future. How could they get a receipt from the future? This is clearly fraudulent activities. This is clearly fraudulent activities. And here it should roll over this. It needs to be a commission of inquiry right away. And even outside of that, some person should go to jail. All right? That is clearly scandalous. I'll let you hear some more of what Clint Watson had to say before we go to the real crime of the century. Let me let you hear from some more from Clint and the media sitting in front of him asking him questions. And some of them were good questions, like I said. But the seasoned media personalities seem to have been pushed out. So more from Clint.
As Minister of Finance, he can do that. He didn't have to come and say, okay, this was an official trip. He could have official trip, whatever. He made the decision in transparency. So there will be.
Have you ever seen Clint Watson stammering so much? Look at him. I mean, look at that. That is a face. That is the face of a liar. Look at that face. Just look at it. Oh my God.
Be no doubt or question of any use of funds that are not quote what otherwise many people describe. And so we continue to look at it. Let's continue to look at it. Because, matter of fact, we're going to perhaps make some suggestions on a number of things going forward. You'll probably hear it next press conference. But it's always trying to look and see what you're able to do versus what you're not able to do. And that's why when you're not sure or there's a gray area or you just want to go with your gut feeling, you make a move with the Prime Minister did and said, listen, we'll allow the party to cover it so that the people aren't concerned of their funds. And I think that I'll show you that was a decision even before there were concerns from opposition, even before there were reports in the media. The decision was made that the party would plead for it and reimburse the government to make sure that there was no gray area as to whether or not it's okay or not okay.
Personally, I find it very hard to believe that there was no budget set for a trip.
Let me clarify for you. I'm glad you asked. Hopefully we can help you with it. Prime Minister wouldn't set a budget for a trip. That's not his responsibility. He's running the country. He's invited. He will say yes or no whether or not he will attend. He doesn't sit and plan a trip and budget out. That happens in the office. It happens with various divisions, civil servants whose job are to plan and organize. Now, when you budget a trip, you may say, okay, the accounts department may say, okay, pay for this, pay for this. At the end of the day, when the trip is done, there's a cabinet approval that's given, obviously, for the trip, which will outline that these expenses will have to be covered. But you won't have an exact figure until it actually transpires. You can see what was spent and what was not spent. It normally happens in the back end. That's not unusual. That's how it works in the government system, in accounting. If you're asking what was the figure budgeted in bonds. I don't know that figure. We can perhaps get that for you. I don't know that, so I don't want to speak unless I know that. But we can get it for you.
So was there cabinet approval for this trip?
Oh, it was an official trip. Yeah. I don't know. Let me confirm that for you.
So was it an official trip or was it not an official trip? Because it keeps going from being an official trip to being a party trip to an official trip to a party trip. One thing I know about the PLP is, and this is why, you know, it's entertaining to have them in government because they can't lie well. They don't lie well, and they're so arrogant with their lies and their blatantness that they just don't care, and they just say anything and just think that you're just going to believe it because they said it.
For you. All right, before saying it was. That's a process that happens usually with government travel. There are cabinet approvals for it.
You are unable to say if there was a cabinet approval, that it wasn't.
But that is a process.
That is the.
But I want to confirm for you whether or not it actually happened. That is a process.
Also, it's I think a week after they would have returned from the trip. There still hasn't been all of the receipts from the trip still hasn't been turned in a week later.
Okay, I can't take any more of that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so sorry, but that is Clint Watson trying his best to lie his way out for this government, and it's ridiculous. I want to thank those persons in the media who stood strong and who asked some questions. One of the Eyewitness News guy said, "Listen, I find it hard to believe that you didn't have a budget for this, that you wouldn't know what the budget is." And of course, they're lying, so they're covering everything up. So just keep paying attention, and we're going to get to that. But Clint asked, what is the law? He asked, what is the law on it? And they told him what the law is on it. And of course, he just ran away from that. But this is the law as it relates to, to financial crimes in government. I'm going to pull it up for you right now. Just give me a sec to line it up for you. In terms of financial crimes, I am reading from the Public Finance Management Act. The Public Finance Management Act. It's the act. It's the act when it comes to what government can and cannot do. And so we're just going to browse through this a little bit so you can see that we have laws in place. The problem we have is we have corrupt officials who won't enforce the laws against themselves. We don't have any mechanisms. Like in the United States, if a senator does a crime, they go to jail. If the president does a crime, there's mechanisms in place for that president to be impeached. And once impeached, he can go to jail. All right? There are mechanisms in place for accountability. We don't have that here. We don't have people even honoring the Westminster system. You can see in England, they've had 5 prime ministers in 6 years, 3 since 2019, because they are held accountable. But here, no, Bahamians are soft, and we just, whatever our party does, we make excuses for it. Forget our country, let the country can go to hell, and we just side with our party. And that's where we go wrong. But here, I want to show you this act. It says a public officer or other person with responsibility for public resources, so just a member of parliament, there's anybody who is a public official, or any other person with responsibility for public resources commits an offense. See that word? Offense. What does that mean? In other words, a crime of financial misconduct if, without lawful authority, that person willfully or recklessly, so they might even have intended to do it, but they might have done it in a reckless manner. If they do any of these things, incurs expenditure or makes commitments for expenditure of public money. So if there was no approval, it was outside of the budget, etc., if they incurred expenditure or makes commitments to it. That means you didn't spend the money, but you committed to spending the money. All right? Of any of the public money. That's one offense. It's one count. If they open a bank account, I'll skip over that because they didn't open a bank account, maintains the bank account, etc. Disposes of or pledges, encumbers public property, not that. Provides incorrect information to the revenue, etc. But I'm going to go to subsection 2. A public officer or other person with responsibility for public resources commits an offense of financial misconduct if that person willfully or recklessly makes any statement or declaration, gives any information or certificate, etc., resists or obstructs any person acting in discharge of their duties, etc. I'm going to go straight down to where it is. Diverts funds to unauthorized activities. So you take the treasury money and spend it on a party event, a party trip. That's D. Diverts funds to unauthorized activities. All right? That is the law. That's 2 counts. 2 counts. Next, seeks or accepts a personal loan or benefit in circumstances that compromise the integrity of the public officer or public office. So it sounds like the PLP got a loan. They got a loan from the Treasury and they're going to pay it back? No, it wasn't a loan. They stole it and they decided they're going to pay it back. That's count 3. Does any act for the purpose of procuring for any person or organization, so example, the PLP, does any act for the purpose of procuring for any person or organization the improper payment of any public money? Count 4. Or the improper use of any public resources? Count 5. 5 counts of financial misconduct. All right, that's 5 counts of financial misconduct. Also, if they fail to produce any information in their possession and their control, fails to keep proper records, fails to pay public money in a timely manner, fails to produce reports, accounts, other required facts, fails to transfer funds received, fails to implement lawful written instruction, etc., etc., fails to report to the Financial Secretary an incident of financial misconduct of which the public officer or public office holder has become aware. That's count 6, because if they didn't report this misconduct to the Financial Secretary, that's count 6. Fails to declare a conflict of interest when dealing with or making decisions about public resources, count 7. Because there was a clear conflict of interest there. That political party has nothing to do with the government and the governing of this country. And to have someone working in the office of the Prime Minister paying the money to the office of the Prime Minister on behalf of the PLP is clear conflict of interest. How much counts we on? 7. And then they talk about how it's being investigated, how it's supposed to go through the commission, etc., etc., etc. And they talk about, what should happen to an officer, and then criminal proceedings. A public officer, public office holder, that's a member of parliament. A public officer, public office holder, or other person with responsibility for public resources commits a criminal offense if without lawful authority that person willfully takes possession of public resources. That's what they did, including electronic data. Dishonestly appropriates. So that's count 9. This is count 8. And this is count 9. Dishonestly appropriates public resources. provides inaccurate financial information or conceals information on public resources to obtain a benefit for that person or other person. They conceal information. They never told us about this. Let's count 10. Engages in corrupt acts, including soliciting or receiving bribes. Including. Yes, what they did was corrupt. They took our public money and benefited from made it benefit the PLP. A person convicted of offense under this act shall, on summary conviction, be liable to imprisonment for a period not exceeding 5 years, or to a fine not exceeding $100,000 or both. So to answer Clint, the criminal organization known as the Progressive Liberal Party has committed offenses against the public purse. They've been caught red-handed and confess to misappropriating public funds. They have confessed. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we can allow people to keep doing what they're doing. Minister, FNM did it, PLP did it, FNM do it, PLP did it. That's 11 counts of criminal activity under one act. I didn't go under the other acts. I'll just leave it right there. One act. They're just so comfortable in their stealing now, and they know the Bahamian people won't do anything. So they're going to thief as much as they can for the next 4 years, and then try to turn it over to the FNM. And while the FNM is in power stealing the people's money, the PLP will be balling and spending the money that they made while they were in office. That is the cycle that has been going on for all these years. They steal, then ball, then come back and steal, and then ball and steal and ball. I only need 1 day in the House of Assembly, and it'll be a cleansing. A cleansing. You see, they know that the other side doesn't know the law. Couldn't Pintard, with all the lawyers in the FNM, just come forward? The media will talk to Pintard because they're trying to give them a profile to make sure that we don't get in there. That's what they're trying to do. Couldn't he just grab the law and say, these are the acts that you broke? These are the laws that you broke? I mean, he's watching this now, so maybe he'll do that this week. These are the laws that you broke, PLP. We need to stand up against this or get international help. Because you can shut down the government. If it's proven that the government is misappropriating funds, it's going to be difficult for them to get loans. But guess what? What's Pintard going to do? Nothing. What's Pintard going to say? Nothing. They're just going to throw generalized questions out there. And the two of them are asking, someone saying, oh, we might have broken the law. Another one saying, which law did we break? And nothing is going to happen. We need strong leadership in this country to take us to the next and new Bahamas. All right? So we need to wake up. So I just wanted to point that out to all of you, that the government did break the law. And I showed you the law that they broke. And that's that. I want to move on to the last thing I want to talk about today. Do we have the phone line available? And then I'll open the phone line for you, and then I'm going to be out of here. You know, the government has spoken this absolute ludicrous nonsense about getting rid of the sovereign fund and replacing it with a national investment fund. Before elections, I told you that this was coming. I told you, I sat in front of Brave Davis, and he told me to my face when I told him that Bahamians should be allowed to benefit directly from our natural resources. He said, no, he's old school. He's not going to do that. He said he's going to make it so that a few people benefit, and then they provide jobs to everybody else. And while People are living in their cars in this country, living on the beach, homeless, while 11,000 persons every month is going to social services for help. While 11,000 people are going to social services for help because they can't make it, they don't know what to do. These people are stealing all of the resources. You remember the stories that we put out there with national insurance, et cetera, all this going on. And now they're going to legally steal the natural resources. Brave Davis is doing just what I told you he said he was going to do. And so the Sovereign Wealth Fund is a possibility of Bahamians benefiting. But Brave Davis, and I'm going to pull this up, Brave Davis decided that no. Bahamians won't be allowed to benefit from their natural resources because they want to keep you under their foot. They don't want you to become independent of the government. They want you to be beggars and begging the government for everything you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to see what they're saying. I'm just going to show you a little clip, and then I'm going to read to you what Brave Davis had to say from his speech, because I'm sorry, but I can't take much of listening to his voice. This is a little commercial they put together for how they're going to steal our natural resources in Sovereign Wealth Fund. Listen.
It's the most effective way to see significant advancement in expensive projects. Instead of the public having to contribute or borrow every penny for roads, schools, hospitals, airports, and homes, we will invite the private sector to partner with us.
The bill sets up for the first time a clear regulatory framework for the arrangement, the recommendation of the Inter-American Development Bank.
We are doing so in line with the recommendations made by the IDB, which advise setting up investment funds and vehicles to deal with national investment revenue and expenditure in a way that is transparent and in line, both from a structuring and governance point of view, international best practices. This is an essential first step in taking a comprehensive approach to national investment.
The bill will facilitate the management of natural resources along with private investments held by the government and the establishment of the National Investment Fund to advance the blue, green, and orange economies. Passage of the bill will be followed by a Bahamas Resilient Infrastructure Fund to include food security and renewable energy sub-funds, along with a Family Island Growth Fund.
The vision for the Bahamas Resilient Infrastructure Fund is much larger than our basic infrastructure needs. It will be a vehicle to promote private capital mobilization to advance the country and our family of islands like never before.
Keeping you in the know. This is OPM.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to rewind that quick so that I can guide you to the nonsense that you just heard.
It's the most effective way to see significant advancement in expensive projects. Instead of the public having to contribute or borrow every penny for roads, schools, hospitals, airports, and homes.
Notice what he is talking about. Roads, schools, hospital, airports, and then they're building projects for our homes to use our crown land to sell back to us, building the cheap houses. He's also talking about private-public partnerships to do this with the natural resources in the mix. And I want you to wake up. How would a private company that invests in a road or a school benefit from that investment? Schools are free. We don't pay tolls. How is this a partnership? What is the partnership? Is this really a partnership? So if you build a school, you're going to now charge the children? What's happening here? What's really going on under the table? Does this not make sense to anybody else? How would a private person, a private company benefit by investing with the government in schools, road, hospital, etc.? These are not for profit initiatives. Something fishy is going on. Well, I'll tell you what's going on. What's going on is this is a way to grab our natural resources. So let me help you understand. So, for example, remember Clico? Clico formed their company by using land as collateral. So they used some land they had as collateral in order to form their insurance company in the Bahamas. Okay, and so the land was held, and they was able to use it, and somebody was able to get rid of that land when they was falling apart. They was able to sell that and do whatever they wanted, but they owned the land. I'm told that when Chester Cooper went into the insurance business, he did the same thing. He used land as collateral. There's nothing wrong with that. Land as collateral in order to go into the business, and the land has a certain value. They are going to take our natural resources, and this is about owning the natural resources legally. They're going to take our natural resources, kind of like Oban. When Oban was coming to the Bahamas, the major part of their project wasn't about oil. It was about this land, this crown land that was going to be given to do subdivisions with. So that wasn't really an oil deal, that was a real estate deal. But they got our natural resource, which is our land. And so what they're going to do is they're going to take our aragonite, our land, limestone, etc., and they're going to take the value of it and put it into a company. And then they're going to let one of their oligarch crony companies, PLP crony companies, put a small amount of money in, use natural resources as the collateral to be able to do business in a certain way, and then be able to grab this because now they own it. They are part of the company that owns this natural resource. So instead of the natural resource belonging directly to people, it'll be put in these companies, and these people will be able to invest. And because they are part of that company, they own the natural resource. They have a lock on it. That is the scary part. That is what they're up to. That is how they want to steal our natural resources. That is what this whole thing is about. It's not about building schools and roads, etc. They're doing that to justify that Bahamians will benefit because they'll get roads and schools, etc. That's the justification for stealing our natural resources. Billions and trillions of dollars is going to be made, and you are going to get nothing because you just love your party, or you don't have the courage to stand up and do what is right. We got to stand up, Bahamas. They are stealing the natural resources right in your face. I'll let you hear a little bit more about what he had to say, and then I'll correct it. Because he quoted the IDB. Well, I'll get to it now. You heard him. He quoted the IDB and IDB recommendations. Do you know what else the IDB recommended? That you shouldn't go into anything like this unless you have an effective, active Freedom of Information Act for transparency. How are you now going to talk about public-private partnerships and you still don't have a Freedom of Information Act? And you're going passing all these bills, you're going to transform all this stuff, but we have the act, but it's not enacted. It is not implemented. Just the promise of an implementation in the future. Because they want to steal in the meantime. Remember, there's a Public Procurement Act that they're not following. They told you they're breaking the law, they're not following it because it hinders them being able to give contracts who they want to, so they guess it's going to change the law. Is this the government that you're going to trust with your natural resources to remove your sovereign wealth fund? Is this the government you're going to trust with that? In 5 years, it would all be gone. The IDB wants certain things in place as it relates to procurement, as it relates to corruption, as it relates to the Freedom of Information Act, but he isn't quoting that part of it. He's just saying that they recommend funds. They recommend these investment funds. Yes, they do recommend investment funds because other countries have made it successful, like Qatar, Dubai, etc., Kuwait, Norway, etc. They've made it successful. But notice the IDB didn't tell him nothing about co-mingling it with private institutions. Notice he couldn't say that. With letting your corrupt political finances, etc., benefit from our natural resources while the people get nothing. The IDB didn't tell you to do that. Yes, they said we should have investment funds that the people can benefit from. But what you are doing is not from the recommendations of the IDB. And you talked about these standards that they're going to be following. Well, I'm going to read and show you where they are fully deceptive and deceiving you. They are deceiving you. All right? So, it's on the wrong screen. Let me see how we get there. Right. Yeah, this is Brave. Let me play a little bit more of what he had to say.
We will invite the private sector to partner with us.
The bill sets up for the first time a clear regulatory framework for the arrangement, the recommendation of the Inter-American Development Bank.
We are doing so in line with the recommendations made by the IDB, which advise setting up investment funds and vehicles to deal with national investment revenue and expenditure in a way that is transparent and in line, both from a structuring and governance point of view, with international best practices.
But they did not say to let your political finances and funders have companies that will commingle with our natural resources and our investment fund and be able to benefit while the Bahamians get nothing.
This is an essential first step in taking a comprehensive approach to national investment.
The bill will facilitate the management of natural resources along with private investments held by the government and the establishment of the National Investment Fund to advance the blue, green, and orange economies. Passage of the bill will be followed by a
So the purpose of the fund is to advance the blue, green, and orange economy, right? What does that have to do with schools and roads? They're contradicting themselves. The fund must say its actual purpose. And initially, he was talking about schools, roads, hospitals, etc. Now they're talking about blue, green, and orange economies. Orange meaning cultural, entertainment, etc. Something is wrong here. Wake up, Bahamas.
Bahamas Resilient Infrastructure Fund to include food security and renewable energy sub-funds, along with a Family Island Growth Fund.
The vision for the Bahamas Resilient Infrastructure Fund is much larger than our basic infrastructure needs. It will be a vehicle to promote private capital mobilization to advance the country and our family of islands like never before.
Keeping you in the know. This is OPM Prep.
Bahamas, this is scary. This is terrifying. I don't know if you know what you're listening to, but this is the theft of everything Bahamian. Here in his speech, you heard some of it, the public-private partnerships, etc. I'm going to go straight to page 6. He talked about IDB, etc. I'm going to skip over that. I'm going to go straight to page 6, paragraph 6. He says, we will also create national funds to leverage and maximize the leverage and maximize value in underutilized national assets. He is saying underutilized national assets. Listen again. We will also create national funds to leverage and maximize value in underutilized national assets. So in other words, we're not using our aragonite enough. We're not using our sand enough. We're not using our trees and our land enough. So we're going to do these funds to maximize these underutilized natural resources. He says we will co-invest these underutilized assets, your keys, your land, your aragonite, your limestone, your oil if you have that, and if they want to go look for it. He says we will co-invest these underutilized assets with private investments and capital in order for the first time as a matter of national policy to participate in projects that maximize value, appreciate in value, and utilize the value created to reinvest in national infrastructure priorities. They're going to outright take your natural resources, commingle it with the private persons, our homes or whoever else, Focal, whoever else of course they'll form new companies for them for this, that you won't know who is the owner. And there won't be a Freedom of Information Act. So they're going to form new companies for this, and they're going to put these assets in private companies, and they're going to do what they have to do. I want you to understand that Brent Simonet knows the Simonettes are still in Andros. Even though the government says we're rejecting it, something else is up. They just did a test of the limestone. Why are you there testing limestone, spending money to test limestone if you were rejected? Something else is afoot. Some deals are being made. Remember, I told it to you. Remember my words. But they're going to co-invest. They're going to steal our resources legally. This is terrifying. He said this bill is based on global benchmark of how national funds are designed and global principles of good governance. He says we are proud that this National Investment Fund bill is structured in line with the Santiago principles. And these are a set of 24 principles that assign the best practices for national funds. Okay, I wonder if they didn't think we could actually just look up the Santiago principles, because we can. And there it is. It's the San Diego principles. I just say to Bahamian people, we are extremely concerned because they mentioned the 24 San Diego principles, and I read these principles, and nowhere in these principles is it talk about stealing our natural resources and intermingling it with the private sector to do anything. They mention certain countries in this that have sovereign wealth funds or national investment funds. They talked about places like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Dubai, Qatar, etc. But all of these people make sure that their people benefit. It's not for infrastructural purposes. And so as I read all of these, and I don't have time now to read all of this, but nowhere, and here they are, I'm just going to go slow so you can see it. Nowhere does it talk about that. But one thing it does talk about is that there needs to be transparency and accountability before you can do this. The accountability framework of the sovereign wealth fund operations should be clearly defined in the relevant legislation, charter, or other constitutive document. And I've started to read the document, which I'm going to go over another time with you. I don't see anything clearly defined in there. Nothing. Annual reports to talk about mostly is about accountability. They didn't talk about no co-mingling and co-investment and all this kind of nonsense that they're talking about. We got to be smart, Bahamas. They're trying to steal our natural resources so that by the time as a new Bahamas happens, that they would have these natural resources locked up. and it will be difficult to take it back. They're going to put a punishment clause in there to punish the Bahamas if you take it back from them. Remember, this is the same party, the same exact party. I wish I could go through that document with you some more, but I guess I'll put it up there so you can go and see it. It's the same party that did a company called Blue Water and tried to sell BEC to themselves on credit. On credit. It's the same party. Y'all know what y'all in for. They're going to steal BEC. They're going to go into renewable energy, not because that's their plan, because this is already signed on to. You have to do it by 2030. They're going to steal it to give it to their cronies. And you will still be paying for electricity, even though it's from the sun and it should be free. The stuff that you heard Brave saying in the beginning about doing roads and bridges and schools, doesn't that sound familiar? Do you remember hearing that somewhere else? Remember when we had the big Oranbelly Park march? Remember? And Minutes came back and responded saying, okay, we're going to give you a sovereign wealth fund, but we're going to take $2 billion from it and we're going to build roads and schools, etc. Remember that? This carries on. This is what they're doing. This is carrying on from the FNM to the PLP. They're one. And if you can't see it, I am so sorry for this country. I'm so sorry for the sufferation that your children is going to face in the very near future. These people are robbing us together. We need you to spread the word. I'm going to open the phone lines. The phone lines is there. I'm going to open the phone lines for you. I want to hear what you have to say about this. So if you have any questions, if there's anything that you didn't understand about this, feel free to let me know. If there's any questions, I give about 15 minutes on this part of it. Call in. The number is 804-4264. 804-4264. Please call in. Please call in and let me hear what you have to say. What do you have to say about what you just saw? About the law, about them stealing, breaking 11 counts of the law, of one law. 11 counts. And then pretending that they don't know what's going on. Do you think we got much more stealing to come? Is there much more stealing that happened and we don't know about it? What do you think? All right. So how do you feel about? I'll take some from chats also. Lincoln, why do you think that they done the House of Parliament? You are in secret deals? I don't understand your question. That isn't in English. All right. So we got a caller. Let's go to the lines. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Bain. So good to hear from you again.
Thank you.
Boy, that sovereign wealth fund, that plan, Brave, of natural resources, that is scary, Mr. Bain.
Yep.
And I only want to say, I'm so sick of hearing every day when you think it can't get no worse.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you all something. These people, they even ain't watching about getting back in power. You know, we got to be aware. They are going to get back in power. They could steal a sovereign wealth fund, then they straight. It doesn't matter. That's what they're all about. So we don't need to be worried about, they ain't do it because they want to get back in. That's small things to what they're really after, which is locking down on our sovereign wealth fund. So having said that, Mr. B, what is the next step? We can't sit back and allow it to happen. We need to go now and full load and counteracting this. What do we do?
Well, there's only a couple of things you can do. You can organize and you can support the party that's willing to fight for you and get them out of the House of Assembly, which has to happen. I don't care how much you protest. I don't care how much you try to get them to do what's right. They're up to tricks and they don't care and they feel that they can't be moved for 4 years. So the only thing that terrifies them right now is another party or other members of parliament getting in there who are not a part of their system. They are terrified of another party taking over this country, because then they're going to be exposed as partnering to gang rape us for all these years. That is the only thing that moves them. They don't care how much marches you have. They don't care about any of that stuff. They care.
So then we don't, then we gotta wait until 4 years when they would have already done their damage. That's my point. What do we do to stop this? Look,
Once, there's only one way to stop this. You have to hit the streets and take the House of Assembly and threaten them with removal. The question is,
we need to start organizing, Mr. Bean. Now we tired of hearing the talking. Now they tired of that.
Yeah, me too.
We have to do something.
Me too. And as you know, I don't do much of the talking. I'm out there fighting them. I'm there in their face. You know, the Bahamians have to determine if they are ready to stand up and fight for what's theirs. I can tell you that based on everything that I'm seeing, our land is going to be gone. Our citizenship is going to be gone. Our voting rights is going to be gone. It's going to be watered down and gone because of what they're doing. And corruption is going to rule in this country. There's going to be nothing left for our children if we don't stand up.
Let's save ourselves the stress. Election is our least worries right now. We have to plan to move these people out of office before the 4 years. We have to make that clean and simple knowledge. We have to get in the ghetto areas and we have to spread this message.
Yes.
They're not getting the message. So I implore y'all, please put together a strategy. Go in each of the grassroots areas and educate the people. Everybody don't have data and internet to hear these things on social media. We have to get in the grassroots areas. We have to have a plan. We have to come together and say, okay, that's enough, and we come into our house and go downtown and remove these people before they do the damage. And we have no other records. We don't.
You live in New Providence?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you live in New Providence. When we call to start organizing to get everyone in these neighborhoods and get the message out there, because the Bahamians have to know you're angry because you know and you see. There are persons who don't know and haven't seen yet, you know, and so we have to get the message out to them. It's going to take.
I be downtown every time, Mr. B.
Yes, thank you so much.
Recognize my voice.
Thank you.
Everything happened with the COI and daily.
Yes, and we got to get persons to come together. When we organize, we're organizing all of our branches now. Contact the same number. Send a message to the same number, the same exact number that I'm talking, that you're talking to me on right now, 804-4264. Send a message. Let them know you want to be a part of the groups, the WhatsApp groups.
I tell you, I'm a part of the group.
Yes, I know. I'm not talking to you. I said it to the general public.
Okay.
Let them know that you want to be a part of the group. And you want to be active so that when we form the branches, that the branches can take this message into the community. But also, you can't just wait for the party to do so. All right? It takes a lot of time, effort, etc. to do that. You got to spread the word. You got to spread that message to everyone you talk to. You got to talk sense to them. All right? And so that's what needs to happen. But we're in the fight. We're going to make this fight happen. We're going to continue to organize, and we're going to give them help.
Now we have to, from the top, Mr. Bean, from your voice, from your mouth, we need to hear, okay, this is the plan.
Yes.
That all sounds good, what you're saying, but because of the criticality of this thing, we have to address this like now. We can't play around and just, go as normal with this. We have to deal with this situation.
Yes, I agree.
Know it ain't happening.
I agree.
In our country, we would not have nothing left if we go at this pace.
Yes. Thank you for your call.
All right.
So we're getting some other calls. Wild call 804-4264, 804-4264, the number on the screen. All right, we got another caller. Good afternoon, you're live.
Hello, good night, Lincoln.
Good night.
To the caller would just call you. Only thing I would tell her to do, Mom, Bahamas, just evangelize. Same thing with Lincoln being saying from last year, evangelize. Tell your friend, tell your neighbors. If you're in the food store, strike up a conversation about the COI movement. If you're in the wash house, same thing. That's all you got to do is evangelize. And the best way to market something is by word of mouth. That's all I have to say. Just spread the message to your family and friends. You see?
Yeah.
Every time you spread it, the other people would spread it too. But Lincoln, I want to get your 406, man. You got that?
406? No, man, I don't gamble. I don't even have an account. But I hope my family got it because my age comes every year.
Well, I gotta set you up. I gotta get your account, boy.
No, man, I don't have an account with none of those companies. I don't gamble, man. I take my risks in business. So win, lose, or draw, that's how I take my risks.
But watch this, Lincoln. The Bible said, when the righteous in power, the people rejoice. When the wicked people in power, the people mourn.
Yeah.
So I give you a quick Bible analogy.
Go ahead.
You remember, because you're a Bible man. You remember when Daniel, he was in the king's house and it was a writing on the wall. He began to pray. And when he began to pray, he got the interpretation, right?
Yes.
He got the interpretation in minutes. But watch this now. That was one king. That was Nebuchadnezzar. When the other king took over, I think he was the Medes and Persian, took over, right? And he prayed to God for an answer. How long did it take him to get an answer? 21 days.
Yeah.
And the reason for the 21 days is because, when the wicked in rule, guess what happens? It's a different principality that overshadowed that nation. So it's hard for your prayers to be penetrated. Your prayers it can be hard to penetrate when the wicked. I'm telling you, it can be more harder.
Yes.
Financially, economically, it can be harder. Because the wicked in rule, Nebuchadnezzar wasn't as wicked as this Medes and Persian leader.
Yeah.
You see, so like a man like you, we got the Spirit of God in you, right? People talk about Moses and Joshua leadership. Listen to me, you know Moses and you know Joshua. Guess who you are? You are Nehemiah. You building the wall, and guess what? You're going to let Tobias down, distract you to come down off your wall. You continue building that wall, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Our modern day Nehemiah.
Thank
God
you,
bless
man. Thank you. God bless you. 804-4264 is the number you can call in. The outright theft of this nation is happening right now. They've been stealing. Yeah, we showed you documents of Perry Christie and Ingram, what they've done with national insurance, and we've shown you documents of the Aragonite deals, etc. And so this has been happening. We got to wake up. Good afternoon, you're live. Good afternoon, you're live.
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
Hello?
Go ahead, you're live.
Yes, I don't know if persons were taking note of something that was very important, and I think they may have missed. I think it was last year sometime that you were saying that the Bahamas would have to pay a certain amount of money to the IDB on our debt. I think it was $1 billion or something like that Brave those would have to come up with. Do you remember that figure?
Yep.
Right.
The first figure they had to come up with was $2 billion by September.
Okay. And coincidentally, September has just gone, and there's been no announcement of that money being paid. So I'm going to have to take it that money was not paid. That loan was not paid. And coincidentally now, here it is that they are introducing this initiative by the IDB. I mean, 2 + 2 will always be 4. And I believe strongly that this is a condition of them not meeting that loan. If you take a look at Brave, when Brave was, his reading seemed to be scripted, as if someone handed him something and he was reading all that. I think they knew that.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. 100%. You know, the country's in trouble, and I told everybody that these guys, they weren't even flinching. They weren't even worried that they had to come up with this money. But now some things that happen for our natural resources to be taken from us, because it's supposed to belong to the people, is going to be taken from us and be able to put in the private initiatives. All right? And so this is how they're stealing from us.
That contract, or whatever you want to call it, or that list of, or that clause, or whatever you want to call it, for them breaching that loan. This was ever in the works, and they knew it. They knew that had they not paid that loan, the IDB had something set up for them to enact, so that they could secure that money, or basically control their economy and whatnot. And it's a common thing that happens in poorer, smaller countries by these larger international organizations. Yeah. And Brave them knew about it. And here it is, coincident. Like I say, I don't believe in coincidences. That money was supposed to be paid in September. September gone. Here we are in October. It just so happens that the IDB, that they are now recommending something that was handed down by the IDB. That ain't no coincidence.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Thank you for your call, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Someone says, "What our babies gonna have? What our babies gonna have if they're giving the wealth away? They're gonna have nothing. They never wanted Bahamas to have anything, so it's not gonna be anything new. We just kept voting for parties and treating it like a sports, pulling for a sports team. You know, you just want your F&M, you just want your PLP to win, and you lose every time." Someone says, "Lincoln, why don't you start investing where people can build their own investments?" I have taught, I've had seminars that taught Bahamians. I'll get to you on the phone line right now. I've had seminars that taught Bahamians how to invest their money, how to invest in stocks, how to invest in crypto, how to invest in forex. I've taught persons on many different levels. I've invested in persons to be able to do that. I still have a website where persons have all of the information they need to benefit from going and trading in the markets. Persons are still on there and still trading. It's a multitude of information. I've spent the last 2 decades of my life doing things to benefit Bahamians. I've had business boot camps. During the lockdown, I had an online business boot camp to teach people how to go into the online business, how to make money online, how to expand their horizons and sell to the world instead of just selling here locally. I taught Bahamians how to do that. People said that the boot camp was phenomenal. All right. And so we enjoy doing that. And these are the kind of things that I've been doing. All right. Not doing it for benefit. We had a whole entire boot camp that was, I think it was 4 or 5 weeks of boot camp, and it was $50. We just charged people, just charge them. It wasn't to make any money. But we taught people how everything they need to know how to do business internationally online. I did that. All right. We had a business boot camp where we brought people in and taught them everything they need to know about going into business and all that kind of stuff. We've done these kinds of things. I've been doing this. I've been spending the last 20 years or so of my life trying to empower Bahamians in this way. Not for me to benefit, but to help other Bahamians to benefit. Going to go to the phone lines. So sorry, I am brought the person on, didn't go to them. Good afternoon, you're live.
Hi, Mr. Ben. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm well, but I'm tired of hearing words. I want one thing for you to deal with because I'm ready for action.
Yes.
Tell me how much is for membership, how much per month? I am always out there, the lady with this walking stick.
Yes.
I am always out in Russell Square, but I want to take this to another level.
Wow. You are a lady with a walking stick, and you're out there every time, and you have some men, big strapped-in men who are afraid to stand up for their country.
No, I'm not.
Wow.
Nobody who's walking on 2 feet, I'm afraid of.
Wow. So you can call this same number or come to our office during the week between 11 and 4. They're normally there between 11 and 4 at our office, or you can call this number, or you can go to our website, coalitionofindependence.com. It's $5 a month. That's nothing, but you can also donate. We also have a GoFundMe where persons can donate.
It's not a one-time thing, say $5 per month. It's just $5 per month.
It's $5 a month, or you can do $60 a year. You can pay as much as you want. You can pay.
No, I'll donate.
Yes.
Because I want to see change. I'm retired. I want to see it for my children. I want to see it for my grandchildren.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate your call. 804-4264 is the number. You can call in and express yourself. Let them know how you feel, what you think about what's been going on. Express yourself. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it is sickening what we've been experiencing in this country. I can't take any more of this. I'm going to stand up. Like I said, I've been educating the Bahamian public for a very long time. I was on the radio. I have a Friday show teaching people about business. I've inspired a lot of people to leave their jobs and go into business. A lot of people. I started taking people to China because I believe that if we could cut out the middleman and take them to China, that it would be beneficial. I took hundreds of Bahamian business persons to China so that they could take themselves to the next level. hundreds of them. I've done a lot of things in Power Bahamians over the years, and a lot of people might forget a lot of things that I've done and been involved in. But everything that I've done has been to empower the Bahamian people. And this is the final effort. This is the big one. This is the finale. And this is that every Bahamian should benefit from our natural resources, but the government is now trying to steal from us. I told you it was coming. And that every Bahamian should be empowered and put first in our country. This is it. This is what it is. So the government is passing this legislation saying that they want to be able to partner with the private sector to do this and that, to do these endeavors, but they don't need a new law to do that. It's already allowed in the law. The government partners with the private sector to do Bank of the Bahamas. Alive. The government has partnerships in Alive. BTC. The port. So the government is already doing that. So this is not about being able to put things in place to partner with the private sector. They already do public-private partnerships. They've been doing that. This is an effort to steal our natural resources. That's all this is about. Nothing else. And you're going to stand with us, or you're going to lose this whole country. And then 10 years from now, you're going to say, boy, we should have listened to Lincoln. When Lincoln was talking to them, they wasn't listening. But did you give it your all? Did you come out? Did you support in every way that you can? That's the question. We got to win this together. Moses alone can get it done. Joshua alone can get it done. We got to do this as a people. We are, as a people, have to take the promised land. We have to take this country back from these heathen. They want you to be beggars, but no more. We ain't begging no more. Someone says my audio is distorted. Let's see if we could switch to audio. Okay, how's the audio now? Hopefully the audio is better now. Someone says the audio has me sounding like Ingram. Let's not let that happen. All right, how's the audio now? All right, let me just do a quick test to see, check the audio. Oh, this is good now. Oh, it's okay now. Okay, fine, perfect. All right, so we got to stand up and we got to get this done. All right, someone says back to normal. Of course. Okay, people are calling the other phone, the 803 number. Don't call that number. Please call the 804-4264 number. Good afternoon. You're live.
Good afternoon. How you doing, Mr. Lincoln?
I am awesome, man. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm a young Bahamian.
Mm-hmm.
I just have one quick advice with when we go out in full force. We go to try to take our country back. Just advice on why we don't even have a lot of our other Bahamians out there in full numbers. What happened is we're in Bahamas where it's so full and so political, where you have a lot of people working under these establishments and they get it through being a part of these politician parties.
Yes.
Now, what my advice would be, like how they were back in the day, if we could have a day where you do it in different communities and you have your collision meetings, where we could come out in full force, silently, with masks on, with our collision shirts, where the police wouldn't even know who's under the mask, where it may end up just being the police underneath the mask, where they wouldn't be able to get ridiculed on that next Monday or Tuesday morning when they go back to work because they was a part of the collision team on the outside of Boston Square. But it's just advice I feel as if need to be done, just because when it comes down to being over here, you get whipped based on whether you're a part of this group, that group, and whether we decide to wear just a nice white clean mask. But I think we need to take it into consideration so the politicians can know that we want change.
Yeah.
And they will realize it in numbers and not look at faces.
I think though that for most Bahamians it's not just them being identified. I think it's more than that for them now, because a lot of people wear masks when they go out now. But I think it's that people aren't willing to give up, take time off from their job. They can't afford to lose their jobs right now, and they can't afford to take time out. And then there's some people who just haven't heard. They don't know what's going on. But a lot of people haven't heard. Like you remember the We March situation that went on. What they did was they had marches on holidays when the majority of people didn't have to go to work. And so, right. But the problem is we have marches that have a mission. So we can't have it on a holiday if we're going to deliver a letter to the Governor General or deliver a letter to the House of Assembly. We can't have it on a holiday. So it's for those who come out. If those who come out, then they can show a strong support and show the government that they're serious. The government is terribly worried about us. They are terrified about this movement. And that's why everything they're doing is in response to this movement. And so they're terrified. They know that a change is coming. So you can see what they're doing right now. It's similar to what the UBP did when they realized that the clock was ticking. And so for the PLP and FNM right now, the clock is ticking. They know that their days are numbered. So what did UBP do? The UBP put a law in place called the Quieting Titles Act so they could steal as much land as possible. First, it was used to get extra votes so that they could last a few more years. And then they used it to just take as much land as they could that they would later use to cut up, do subdivisions like Garden Hills, etc., and Ridgeland and sell back to the Bahamian people. All right, so that's what they did. They just started raping and robbing as much as they could. And so the PLP now wants to do that with our natural resources. They realize that they may be removed. All right, I will say they will be removed. And so they're going to try to extend their period by giving a lot of citizenship to Haitians and hoping that they can spread the word to the Haitians and tell them that I don't like Haitians, which is a lie, or that I'm against them. And they're hoping that that gives them one more term, at least, or two more terms to be able to continue the rape and robbery of this country. And so that's what their strategy is.
Okay.
All right? Thank you for your call, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Continue the movement.
All right. Appreciate you. All right, 804-4264 is the number, 804-4264. I just want to make this clear. I got the chance to speak to some persons of Haitian descent this weekend who agree with us. A lot of persons of Haitian descent agree with us. We're not against Haitians. We're not against anyone. We are against illegal immigration because we see the effect it is causing on our society. It is causing a crime effect because when an illegal immigrant comes here, have a child. The child is an outcast. Basically, they don't see themselves as a part of society. A lot of them go into crime, not all, but a lot of them go into crime and end up getting in trouble. You're the ones getting robbed. You're the ones getting raped. When illegal immigrants come here and take jobs from Bahamian young men, the Bahamian young men have to eat. So what happened? It goes to crime. And so you're going to be the ones getting held up, your car taken from you and robbed, and these robberies happening is because of this uncontrolled illegal immigration. It spurs a lot of things. Also, when a legal immigrant comes here, goes to shantytown and has their children, the children have to grow up in circumstances that are not conducive to any human being living. No children should have to grow up in that situation of living in a house with no plumbing, no water, no electricity, etc. No one should have to grow up like that. So these people talking about they are humanitarian or they care about them, they're lying. They don't care. So we want to see a real change in this country. Good afternoon. You're live.
Good night, Mr. Ben.
Good night.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Hey, I was supporting you from the first movement, man.
Thank you, man.
And let me tell you something, man. This sounds very serious. Right here from the first caller, you could hear the side of voice.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And this is very dangerous, bro.
Yeah.
This is very dangerous.
Yeah.
And if we don't get to do this now, we might end up just the same way how Haiti right now fighting with long guns, and we don't need that in this Bahamas land.
Yeah.
This is getting very dangerous, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm here in Freeport. I wish I was in Nassau to being right there 100% with you. But I'm in Freeport, and I'm fighting over here and letting everybody know what's going on because I'm sending them, and I'm sharing and I'm sharing and I'm sharing everything is possible.
Thank you, man.
It's It's very good to hear that. I watched that whole incident with you in the front of House of Parliament, how calm and everything was, and how that man escalated that. But I want you to take a look and watch that preview of that same House of Assembly that day. To look how Wayne Monroe was in his phone, because I was listening, I was watching you on TV, and I was listening to the House of Assembly, and I watched Wayne Monroe at the same time that incident was going on. Wayne Monroe was inside his phone. He wasn't even paying attention to the House of Assembly.
Wow.
If you look at that, I'm telling you, you will see how Wayne Monroe was inside his phone.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man, and keep the movement on, man, because I'm over here fighting for the same thing, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. We'll be in Grand Bahama. Our whole executive team will be in Grand Bahama in short order. We should be there by next month. We got a trip to the UN, and then we're gonna be in Grand Bahama.
And God bless you and safe trip to the UN and bring out the exact words what need to be said so we can get this thing sorted out. We can't take no more of this.
Thank you, man.
We cannot take no more.
Thank you.
Okay?
All right.
You have a blessed night, man.
All right. So for all of you, just a quick reminder that we will be having a fundraising event. The Women's Alliance of the Coalition of Independence is having Gather for the Feast, so it's going to be at our Pinewood office. The tickets for the food is $15. I think that's the best price in the country for Thanksgiving. So please support us. You're saying you support the movement. Make sure you are here. Make sure you get your tickets. If you don't get your ticket in advance, which we advise, please be here. We've already spent a lot of money to make sure that this goes off. Make sure you support us. The movement takes money. It has to happen. And so we need your support. Even the parties have been around for a long time. They have to have their fundraisers. They have their car wash, their boat cruise, and everything else that they're doing to raise funds. And they've been stealing the people's money for generations. And so we need your assistance to get this done. We got to make this happen. All right. So make sure you're here. And that's on November 24th. And make sure you get your ticket. It's only $15. All right. So thank you for your support. And make sure if you want to be active in any one of our movements, make sure you're active in the women's, the men's, etc. All right? I'm going to go to the phone line. Good afternoon. You're live.
Good evening, Mr. Ben. How you doing today, sir?
I am awesome.
I'm just calling to let you know I'm over here in Florida, and I support you 110%.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Also, I just have a few questions. Number one, like regarding the natural resources, shouldn't there be a vote on anything before any action go on? Shouldn't it be a vote on that by the people? I mean, because that's regarding your natural resources and what's going to happen with it with the future. So I think
ethically it should be, but we know that the PLP and FNM are not ethical institutions. So we know that we know that they're doing this just to steal from the Bahamian people. So we have to decide what we're going to do.
Also, I think it should be a freeze on citizenship application and grants. And also before that, I think it should be a confidence vote on this PLP government by the people of the Bahamas, by the citizens of the Bahamas. I think that they should have, if not have a recall vote on this government, period. You know, because I don't think...
Well, actually, they're going to be passing around this week. They're going to be having persons sign a petition for no confidence vote in this government for various reasons, for their failure on illegal immigration, selling out our country, et cetera, et cetera. And so they're going to be passing around and looking for volunteers in order to have the papers distributed. Persons who can take it to where they work, to where they're part of, and it's numbered. And so it's numbered from 1 to, I think, 10,000. I don't remember the exact number. So each person will be numbered. And so that we get enough numbers that we'll be able to do some things with that. All right?
I think that's excellent. Mr. Ben, I think you're doing a very good job. And I think the Bahamian people should follow you. I mean, I'm here. I speak to everybody I speak to. on the islands, I always talk to them and ask them if they know about you, and if they don't, they should support you in what you're doing, because what you're doing is for them.
Thank you, man.
And our generation, our people. And Mr. I realize that you're not homophobic or whatever with the people, with Haitians and stuff like that.
It's xenophobic.
Yes. But you know what? Mr. Ben, you just hanging there. Happy belated birthday, and you just hanging there, and I got you 110%. I got your back. We over here in Florida, got your back.
Thank you, man. All right, appreciate it.
And when you decide to go to the United Nations, just hit me up. I'll go with you.
All right. Yeah, there's a couple of people in America already deciding to go with us. So so we're gonna organize that. All right.
All right, sounds great.
All right, just send a message to this phone. Let me know you have intentions to go with us because you're already over there.
All right, I will do that.
Thank you, man. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got to take this country serious. We're going to let them know exactly what's going on. Someone had a statement here. They were hoping that they said I was hoping Lincoln comment on that. I'm not sure what that is. If I commented on it or if I didn't. If I didn't, you can put a comment now because I'm looking. If it's something you wanted me specifically to comment on, to answer your questions, I'm gonna have to wrap up now. I was only supposed to do an hour today, but you know, when you get in that zone, you know, you tend to keep going. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need a change in our country. We need a desperate change. You know, Steve McKinney's show on Friday. I heard about the show. I didn't get to really listen to it. I heard a little piece of it on the end because someone told me about it. I think they were talking about the illegal immigration. Listen, we have to get serious about this. Again, we're not against Haitians. We do not hate Haitians. We are against the impact of illegal immigration. Come the right way. Come with a job. Come so that you can live in a house or an apartment. So that your children don't have to live in those inhumane circumstances. You're talking about us being inhumane. You having a child in that circumstance is inhumane. You forcing your child to live in that circumstance is inhumane. You do have a choice. You do have a choice. We can do this the right way. We can have a country. See, someone told me that there was a show on Saturday where these people who think they're intelligent were comparing me to Hitler. They were saying I was going to be like Hitler, etc. You know, Hitler wanted to get rid of the Jews, and he felt that they should be wiped out, etc. I think that was one insulting to anyone. But they call Jesus the devil, so I have no problem with that. I have no problem with whatever they would call me. But one thing you must call me is a Bahamian, and a true Bahamian who cares about and loves this country and is willing to fight for this country. Are you? And so the difference is, I don't think that we should get rid of Haitians. I went above and beyond to help Haiti and Haitians during the earthquake. I've gone above and beyond to help them in other circumstances. I don't hate Haitians. I don't feel like we should get rid of them or that any harm should come to them. I'm against illegal immigration. I feel that in order to build a new Bahamas, we're going to need Haitians, Chinese, Filipinos, and all these people. But the difference is we will be the owners of this country. We will not be ostracized. We will not be second-class citizens. We will not be pushed to the side. Our land will not be taken from us. We're going to own this country. I want Haitians here. I don't want illegal Haitians or illegal Chinese or illegal Jamaicans here. Is that clear? I am unapologetic in my love for this country and in my stance to fight for this country. Who don't like it? That's on you. I have a country to fight for. If you have a political party to fight for, you fight for your political party. I am going to fight for my country. We're going to go to the phone lines. Last call I'm going to be able to accept, and I got to go. Good afternoon, you're live.
Good evening, Mr. Ben. How are you doing?
I am awesome.
Good. A happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make a reference to this week I had listened to Maria Dobson making reference to Mr. Brent Simonet bringing in some persons from the United States to have the limestone checked out in Andres. And after I heard about you speaking about the bill that Mr. Davis is getting ready to pass, who's to say that he has not already given authorization to Mr. Brent Simonet to go ahead and start the dredging in Andros? I am from Mangrove Key, which is not too far from the southern part. Just would like to admonish our Androsians to be on the lookout for that, because we've already had our natural resources stolen from us in Grand Bahama by Mr. Brent Simonet and the team, and we don't want Andros touched. That part of Andros is for the Bahamians, the organic Bahamians, to receive wealth from their natural resources. So I just want Androsians to keep a lookout and make sure that that part of our wealth is not stolen from us down there in Andros.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate your call. God bless you. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember the cookout is coming up. If you want to fund us, if you want to assist us with our trip to the UN, you can go to our website and click on donate. You can go to our website and donate through GoFundMe or directly. You can come to a lot of people like to come to the headquarters. You can come to our headquarters. You can also accept through that way. Okay, I'll take this one last call. All right. Good afternoon. You're live.
Good night, President Bain.
How you doing?
Hello.
Yes.
Good. Mr. Bain, there's, I said before, 11.5 million Haitians in Haiti, and there are millions of refugees around the world. The PLP seems like they want to open up the floodgate here, and we only have 200,000 organic Bahamians, and out of that, there's unemployment. And all those visas they grant, that increased the unemployment, Mr. Bain.
Yes.
Thank you, and good night.
Thank you. Yes, I actually think there's more Haitians than that in Haiti. I've experienced Haiti, and I can tell you that there's no way they can do a proper census in Haiti, or no way they will do a proper census in Haiti. Oh, Lord, everyone's trying to get in. All right, good afternoon. You're live.
Good afternoon, my brother.
How you doing?
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Mr. President, I am so glad to have you as the future leader of this Bahamas. My brother, I spoke with a Rastafarian, and he said to me, because that brother stand up in the forest with a gun, he said him and all of his Rasta brothers and that, it's time for them to start voting. And a whole bunch of them got together, and they want to know how could they go right now and register to vote. How can they do it? What do they need to do? People need to know now if they can do it.
Yes, thank you. That's a good point that we need to be bringing up every single time we go live now.
Yes, we need to know if we can do it now. How do we go about it?
Yes.
So we have thousands of people who had stopped voting for years. Because they had been voting a long time ago, but there was no one to go to.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
There are voters in this country who have not voted in years, and they are ready to do it because you and the vision for the New Bahamas, it makes sense.
Yes.
It's time to fight for the country, and like you said, why fight for a party? If we don't have a country, we ain't gonna have nobody.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, my brother Lincoln.
Thank you, man. I
Thank you for
appreciate
standing
it.
up, and happy belated birthday.
Thank you, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can register now. A lot of people didn't get to vote in the last election, especially young people, because they call it a snap election. And the purpose of that snap election, don't mind anything else they said to you, because they were afraid of us. They felt that when they did their surveys, it said that a lot of the young people were not tied to the PLP and FNM. They didn't experience Pillen and Ingram, so they weren't flattered by them, and that they would most likely go with this new movement. And Minnis was told that if he let this movement get another 9 to 10 months to establish itself, that they were going to be a serious problem. And so he called a snap election. And so a lot of people didn't get to vote. A lot of young people didn't get to vote. A lot of people didn't get to vote. And so you can go and register. you can go and register. If you were registered from the previous election, you don't have to register. But if you didn't register, go and register right away. You can go to the registry. That's on Farrington Road, and you can register for the next election at this time. Your young people, don't let them get cut out again. Brave Davis them know that they're in trouble. Don't let the young people get cut out again. Encourage your young person. Take some time with them and take them to the registrar and make sure that they get registered to vote from now so that we are prepared and that we are ready. And so we got to make sure that we flood them out, that we get them out, that they have a Red Sea experience, that Pharaoh and his whole horde is overwhelmed in that Red Sea. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for tuning in. There's always so much more that we can talk about. You know, I love spending my evenings with you. I'm going to go live again on Tuesday evening. We got some stuff to talk about, how the government weaponizes these criminals, weaponize the police force, you know, the judicial system, and everything that they can in order to get their way, to get what they want. They take advantage of it. We don't have an independent judiciary in this country, but we have plans to make the judiciary independent by making sure they have their own budget. They don't have to go to the government begging for anything. The same thing with the Commissioner of Police, etc. We're going to make them independent. All right, but we have some plans for governance that I would love for you to see. You can go to our website and look at our plans for good governance, and a lot of our plans for different things. You can encourage your people if they have questions to go there. Or a lot of people, you know, send me texts, etc., ask me certain questions. Some people in the middle of their family and their family debate, they call me and I'm able to answer their questions. We're not afraid to answer your questions. We want to see the new Bahamas. We believe in the new Bahamas, and we believe that we can make a difference and that we can make a change. We are here. We're going to stand up. Please stand with us. Please give us your support. Give us your support. We need your support in order to get this done. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. And of course, as we always do, we're going to leave you with some videos. I'm going to be here sitting down watching them with you to remind you of exactly where we are and where we should be. Ladies and gentlemen, if we don't get this right, our country is gone. Remember, change ain't coming. Change is here. See you next time.
Close to the road, nice to me around, go through the bush. To come take a look at it. You must see fixing something on it. Look at the size of the screen. Bahamas, just look. Now that come to dig out around here. My God, look at the size of that bucket. That bigger than the biggest dump truck you have ever seen, the bucket of that. Lord, Mr. Prime Minister, you don't think Bahamian people deserve nothing what the screen is doing to us? This will be here for the next generation digging. My Lord, look at the size of the screen.
I don't know how you did this in 50 years. You look at history. Who does this? Show me anybody else that has done this in 50 years. I'm waiting. Show them to me. This wasn't done by money. Money doesn't produce visions. Visions produce money. You've had leadership over here that were visionaries. Great visionaries. And their vision was more about the people than the money, because you can't accomplish this in 50 years without loving your people first, because the people are the ones that's benefiting from this. Look at your health care. Look at your road system. Look at your highway system. Look at your airports. Who does this in 50 years? But who benefits? You're going to care about those people. It's something to be learned about what's been done over here that could be duplicated in the world, because there's people with this much money. You just don't have people with this much love for their people.